Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best food processors for home cooks.
Starting at number 5.
Cuisinart Mini Prep Plus 3-Cup Food Processor. This food processor is pretty foolproof. It's as simple as plugging it in and pressing a button. However, you'll want to learn when exactly to let go of the button in order to get just the right consistency. As for cleanup, it's dishwasher safe, but I don't have a dishwasher, so I just washed it by hand, which was also super easy to do. Versatility. Are there multiple settings, dice/shred/mince, and blade attachments? What tasks is this food processor best for? There are 2 settings, chop, which is great for a chunkier consistency, and grind, which is good for finer consistencies or pureeing. There's only 1 blade attachment, but it's sharp enough to take on all tasks. Honestly, it's great for anything that a newbie in the kitchen, such as myself, could think of: food purees, hummus, chopping up veggies, you name it. It doesn't come with as many specs as other food processors do, but if you take a simpler approach to your cooking, then this food processor is perfect. Consistency. How evenly was the food processor able to dice, mince, and grind? This food processor makes very uniform cuts. No odd shapes or cuts here. I'm genuinely obsessed with this teensy food processor. It's my new best friend in the kitchen.
Coming at number 4.
KitchenAid Cordless 5-Cup Food Chopper. The KitchenAid Cordless Food Chopper isn't as loud as I anticipated, especially with the frozen bananas. Maybe if they had been fully frozen it would have been a different story, but the noise wasn't a big deal. It's also worth mentioning the food chopper works fast, so it probably won't be on long anyway. I'm not saying you should use it in the same room as a sleeping baby, but I'm also not saying it would wake them up in the next room. Footprint. How much space does it take up? It's basically like having 2 coffee cups on the countertop. I love how small it is, and you don't even need to worry about finding a place to plug it in, since it's cordless. Ease of use. How easy is this food processor to use? Was it easy to set up? How is cleanup? I'm going to be honest, I couldn't figure out how to work the top when I first tried it. I was trying to pull up instead of shifting it to the side. Also, I didn't realize that you're supposed to put the blade in before putting in the food. So those 2 things took a minute for trial and error, but after that it was easy to use. Just charge it, move the button to 1st or 2nd speed, and press the button on the handle. The KitchenAid Cordless Food Chopper makes cleanup easy, since the pieces are dishwasher safe. There are only 5 pieces total, so it's not like you're dealing with a million mini pieces that all need to be washed. Versatility. Are there multiple settings, dice/shred/mince, and blade attachments? What tasks is this food processor best for? While there aren't specific settings for dicing, chopping, and pureeing, there are 2 speed settings and a pulse control. There is 1 attachment that features 2 blades. With all the things I made with the KitchenAid Cordless Food Chopper, it tackled each task very well. It blended the pestos, smoothed out frozen bananas, and chopped graham crackers and onions. Since it's small in comparison to other food processors, I'd say that it's best for chopping up single foods or making a batch of pesto, dressing, or salsa. If you're making that frozen banana ice cream, for example, for more than 2 or 3 people, you'd want to use a bigger machine. Most of the things I made were more for smoothing and mixing together as opposed to dicing, but with the onions, all of the pieces were cut pretty much the same. There weren't any huge differences in size that would be cause for concern. If you're looking for a cordless, powerful food chopper that won't take up a lot of room on your countertop, you found it with the KitchenAid Cordless Food Chopper. It's not too loud and can fit a fair amount of ingredients for having a 5-cup capacity.
At number 3.
Hamilton Beach 10-Cup Food Processor. On a scale from 1995 vacuum and a whisper, this food processor is reasonable when it comes to loudness. It is loud enough to know that it's working as it should be, but not loud enough for my downstairs neighbors to start banging on the ceiling. Footprint. How much space does it take up? It is a decent size, And for my kitchen, it has to be stored away as it takes up too much counter space. Ease of use. How easy is this food processor to use? Was it easy to set up? How is cleanup? This food processor is super easy to use and pretty straightforward. It does take a second to line it up just right so that it turns on, a safety feature most food processors have, but other than that, its functionality is fairly simple. The cleanup is quick, but there are several parts. Versatility. Are there multiple settings, dice/shred/mince, and blade attachments? What tasks is this food processor best for? There aren't multiple settings, but there is an additional blade for slicing versus pulsing, which is helpful for things like onions and peppers. There is also a pulse setting and 2 speed settings so you can get the right texture. I loved this for my pie crust. When making an outstanding crust that Nana would be proud, or jealous, of, it is essential to keep the butter and water super cold. The food processor works super quickly to incorporate the ingredients without warming them up. Consistency. How evenly was the food processor able to dice, mince, and grind? The cuts were mostly uniform, though the cilantro stems weren't as evenly incorporated, but it wasn't problematic. The pie crust was perfect and the butter was chopped up in the flour. A food processor is a must-have kitchen appliance, and this one certainly gets the job done. I also loved the side scraper. It helped me get every drop of whatever I was blending incorporated, as well as the suction cups on the bottom of the base, which help keep it steady during use.
Number 2 of my list.
I wouldn't say that this food processor is quiet enough to sleep through, but I did compare it to a still working older model I had in the garage, and it is significantly quieter. Footprint. How much space does it take up? This food processor holds a hefty 14 cups, which is great for mixing up bigger batches, but slightly less convenient for storing in limited cabinet space. It's bulky, and the base is extremely heavy. If you can afford the additional room, though, this model slices and purees like a dream. Ease of use. How easy is this food processor to use? Was it easy to set up? How is cleanup? It took me a minute to figure out how to set up and use this food processor. The cover must be placed on properly for the motor to move, so it took some playing around for me to figure out the correct position. Cleanup was extremely easy since the work bowl, cover, and blades, basically everything but the base, can be tossed in the dishwasher. Versatility. Are there multiple settings, dice/shred/mince, and blade attachments? What tasks is this food processor best for? The control panel is fairly simple with just 2 buttons that allow you to either turn on the food processor, or pulse/turn it off, but it does come with 3 blades that are intended for easier prepping. They're versatile enough to mix, chop, slice, shred, emulsify, puree, and even knead dough with complete ease. Consistency. How evenly was the food processor able to dice, mince, and grind? I was wowed by how precisely this food processor was able to dice and mince ingredients. There's a lot of surface area in the bowl, so it allows for ingredients to spread and mix pretty evenly. You'll never have to stir contents to ensure that everything gets incorporated. Even when I put mushrooms and cucumbers through the slicer attachment, all pieces came out uniformly. Unlike hand chopping, the process took literally seconds, and the result was way cleaner than what I could have done on my own with a knife. I would say that this food processor is best for entertaining because its oversized work bowl and powerful performance make prepping bulk batches a breeze. _____
And number 1.
Breville Sous Chef Food Processor. The Breville has a relatively compact footprint. It's not much larger than my KitchenAid mixer. I wouldn't be opposed to keeping it out on my kitchen countertop. Its brushed stainless steel design looks very premium. And even with the bowl attached, it's not so tall that it gets in the way of my overhanging cabinets. The base is very robust and sturdy. It has rubber feet underneath it to prevent it from sliding around on your countertops. Ease of use. How easy is this food processor to use? Was it easy to set up? How is cleanup? This product is extremely easy to use. There are just 3 buttons: the power button, start, and pulse. I've used a Cuisinart processor in the past, and to be honest, I was intimidated with its speed settings. For me personally, speed settings are unnecessary, and I don't feel like my dishes taste any better based on how quickly I chop up my ingredients. Cleanup isn't bad at all. Most of the components are dishwasher safe, but since everything disassembles easily, it's quite easy to wash by hand. Versatility. Are there multiple settings, dice/shred/mince, and blade attachments? What tasks is this food processor best for? There are multiple included blades. There's a slicing disc that lets you customize how thin you want to slice your food, which came in handy for slicing cucumbers. There's a plastic dough blade. There's a grater disc with different sized holes to make anything from a grated powder cotija cheese to a thicker shredded sharp cheddar cheese. This food processor is best for any kind of dicing, chopping, and shredding, as well as making pie crusts and biscuit doughs. Honestly, it's an excellent, highly versatile machine. I wouldn't recommend using it for bread dough because it develops the gluten too much, which leads to tough dough. Also noteworthy, the processor comes with a 12-cup bowl and a smaller 3-cup miniature bowl. Breville truly thought of everything. Consistency. How evenly was the food processor able to dice, mince, and grind? It grinds beautifully. It doesn't really dice. Dicing is tough to do, but mincing and grinding work really well with this food processor. I was able to use it to grind up large chicken breasts and carrots to make mushed food for my dogs. It has plenty of power.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.